Brooke, please wait. Please wait. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Both of you stop!
Is Hope Logan finally cutting the puppet strings and becoming the villain of her own story? Or is Brooke Logan's suffocating maternal grip about to crush her daughter's newfound independence before the first runway walk is even over? Was this defection to the House of Logan truly an act of empowerment? Or did Hope just trade one cage for another while setting her mother's world on fire? Well, think about it. The dust hasn't even settled from the explosive launch of the Logan fashion line, yet the fallout is already radioactive. Hope Logan has officially defected from Forrester Creations. Honestly, it feels less like a career shift and more like a tactical nuclear strike against the very foundation of her family's legacy. Why did this happen now? My analysis suggests that Hope reached a psychological breaking point. After years of being the good girl who absorbed every blow from Steffi Forrester, she finally snapped. She wasn't just looking for a new office. She was looking for a sanctuary where her name wouldn't be followed by a Forrester-mandated asterisk. But the funny thing is, the immediate reaction from Brooke Logan tells a much darker story. Brooke isn't just upset. She is spiraling into a state of absolute fury. It reveals her own deep-seated insecurities. Instead of seeing a daughter achieving a massive professional milestone, Brooke sees a stolen asset. This reaction is so telling. It suggests that in Brooke's mind, Hope is not an independent woman. She's just a piece of the Logan-Forrester chessboard that Brooke thinks she must control at all costs. The stage is now set for a confrontation on Thursday, July 2nd, that might permanently sever the strongest bond in daytime television. Hope is starting what people are calling an apology tour. But why is she apologizing for a successful career move? This behavior comes from a lifetime of Brooke's emotional conditioning. Hope has been trained to believe that her happiness is secondary to the unity of the Logan-Forrester alliance. She feels the weight of Zen's heartbreak and the shock of her former team because she had to move in the shadows to escape Steffi's thumb. She didn't keep them in the dark because she's malicious. She did it because she knew Brooke would never let her leave if she saw the move coming. Internally, Hope is likely feeling a toxic cocktail of triumph and terror. Imagine the high of seeing your collection praised by the press, only to realize the cost is your mother's love. She is desperate for Brooke to see the person behind the designer. But she's beginning to realize that Brooke only sees the loyalist. There is a hidden fear here. If she doesn't get Brooke's forgiveness, was the independence even worth it? I see this apology tour as a subconscious attempt by Hope to soften the bad girl persona she's suddenly been cast in. By begging for forgiveness, she's trying to keep her moral compass identity while also acting like a corporate defector. It's a fascinating attempt to have her cake and eat it too, even if it's probably doomed. I honestly find Hope's constant need for validation from Brooke exhausting. She is a grown woman who just pulled off a huge fashion heist. Why is she still acting like a teenager who missed curfew? She should own her move. If you're going to burn the house down to build a new one, don't apologize for the smoke. Do you agree? Or do you think she owes everyone an explanation? This is classic successor character syndrome. Hope is trying to separate herself from Brooke's shadow, but her ego is still tied to being the perfect daughter. The conflict she's feeling is a total identity crisis. She wants to be a Logan powerhouse like Katie, but her trauma makes her fear the Brooke Logan cold shoulder more than corporate failure. Now, let's look at Brooke. Her reaction, blaming Katie for stealing Hope, is a defense mechanism. If Brooke admits that Hope chose to leave, she has to admit that the environment she helped create at Forrester was toxic for her daughter. It's way easier to make Katie the villainous manipulator than to look in the mirror and see a mother who failed to protect her daughter's professional dignity. Brooke is feeling a deep sense of abandonment. For years, she has put herself on the line. She even made that seductive offer to Ridge to protect Hope's position. Seeing Hope walk away feels like a slap in the face to every sacrifice Brooke believes she made. Underneath the rage is a woman who feels her relevance slipping as her daughter finds a path that doesn't need her help. Brooke is currently acting like a corporate helicopter parent. She isn't fighting for Hope's career. She's fighting for her own sense of control. By demanding Hope return to Forrester, she's basically saying that Hope's vision only matters if it's under the Brooke Logan umbrella. Brooke is being incredibly hypocritical here. She has spent her life following her heart and ignoring tradition. Yet the moment Hope does the same for her career, Brooke treats it like a crime. Throwing jewelry displays and screaming at Katie? It's a level of melodrama that makes it impossible to be on her side. We are seeing Brooke's protective matriarch side turn into something much more controlling. Her mind just can't see Hope as an independent person. She is projecting her own rivalry with Katie onto Hope's business choices. This is emotional manipulation disguised as motherly concern. Then you have Ridge and RJ. They are fearing the worst for Thursday's episode because they know how volatile Brooke can be. Ridge has spent weeks watching Brooke spiral. RJ is caught between his loyalty to his mother and his connection to his sister. They aren't just worried about a fight. They are worried about the permanent destruction of the family. Ridge and RJ are basically the sanity barometers of this whole thing. Their anxiety shows just how far Brooke has stepped outside of rational behavior. They are our eyes, watching a train wreck and realizing they can't stop it. Ridge is probably feeling very frustrated. He's trying to lead Forrester through damage control, while his partner is sabotaging any chance of peace. RJ is seeing the Forrester versus Logan war destroy people his age, like Will and Elektra. He's probably terrified he's next. Ridge needs to stop complaining about Katie and start holding Brooke accountable. He's enabling her behavior by letting her blame everyone but herself and Hope. As for RJ, his concern feels a bit fake when you consider how he's already circling Elektra the moment her relationship with Will hits the rocks. Ridge is operating from a place of legacy preservation. He sees Hope's move as a betrayal of the Forrester name. That triggers his own need for family loyalty. RJ is dealing with triangulation. He's being pulled into a conflict that isn't his, and it's making him project his own insecurities onto the situation. The tension is about to hit a fever pitch because Brooke isn't just asking for Hope to come home. She's issuing an ultimatum. Go back to Forrester if you want my forgiveness. Think about the weight of that. Brooke is effectively holding her motherly love hostage in exchange for Hope's professional surrender. This isn't just a disagreement. It's a hostage situation in a designer showroom. And let's not forget the other damage. While Brooke and Hope are screaming at each other, the relationship between Will Spencer and Elektra Forrester has officially exploded. Will's decision to keep his father's secrets has cost him the woman he loves. The Spencer versus Forrester war has claimed its first victims. Honestly, the blood is on Bill Spencer's hands. Bill is sitting in his office sipping scotch, happy that Elektra is out of the picture. Meanwhile, his son's soul is being crushed. This is the butterfly effect of Hope's defection. She gets a successful launch, and everyone else's lives burn to the ground. Is that a price Hope is willing to pay? It's a question she'll have to answer soon. I predict that Hope is going to initially try to play the victim to get Brooke back on her side. But Brooke's cold wall will force Hope to find a new ally. That ally will be Katie. The more Brooke pushes, the more Hope will lean into the Spencer's world. It's the natural reaction when your mother is acting like a dictator. I also see a massive corporate coup on the horizon. Brooke has already planted the seed with Ridge to replace Steffi as co-CEO. If Hope refuses to return, Brooke might try to take over Forrester Creations herself just to save the company from the threat of the Logans. Isn't it ironic? She'd become the very thing she claims to hate. As for Will and Elektra, expect RJ to move in with terrifying speed. He's already comforting Elektra. I bet we'll see him try to pry her away from Will permanently. This will lead to a dark Will Spencer emergence that would make Dollar Bill proud. Will has lost everything. He has nothing left to lose, and that makes him the most dangerous player in the game. Do you think Will can ever forgive his father for this? Or will he join him in being a ruthless villain? I have to say, seeing Brooke stand there cold as ice is one of the most powerful character shifts we've seen in a long time. The woman who usually leads with her heart has built a brick wall. It's brilliant television, even if it makes her hard to like. Hope's betrayal wasn't necessarily mean-spirited. It was an act of desperate rebellion. She thought she could find a safe haven with Katie's new fashion house. She thought she could finally be free. But she completely underestimated the collateral damage. She forgot that in this world, every action has a devastating reaction. Now she is standing in the wreckage of her own family. She's realizing that Liam's advice might have just destroyed her relationship with her mother. Was it worth it? Liam has been whispering in Hope's ear like he knows what's best. He was so suspicious of Steffi and so desperate to get Hope away from Forrester. Well, Liam, I hope you're happy. Your relentless pressure has led Hope to a decision that shattered her mother's heart. Liam always tries to play the hero, but his interference usually ends in disaster. Now that Hope is begging for forgiveness and facing this huge ultimatum, Liam is going to have to watch the fallout of his own terrible advice. Will he encourage Hope to swallow her pride and go back to Forrester? Or will he double down and tell her to walk away from Brooke forever? Katie's ruthless business mindset is also to blame. She says business is business, but she has fractured the relationship between Brooke and Hope. Katie might have thought she was just getting a top designer for her brand, but she triggered a nuclear explosion. I honestly hate how Katie is playing this. She is putting her corporate ambition over her family's well-being. And now Hope is the one paying the price. If Hope actually agrees to Brooke's condition and returns to Forrester, the corporate dynamics are going to be explosive. Remember, Brooke has already planted the seeds to overthrow Steffi. If Hope returns, Brooke is going to accelerate that power grab. She will stop at nothing to make sure Steffi can never mistreat Hope again. Steffi is currently dealing with the fallout of Ivy Forrester's manipulation of Elektra and Will. She has no idea that Brooke is plotting a massive coup right under her nose. When Steffi finds out, she's going to lose it. A lot of fans think that Hope is going to initially refuse Brooke's ultimatum. They believe Hope's pride, fueled by Liam and Katie, will make her dig her heels in. But I think Hope is going to break. The guilt of betraying her mother is going to eat her alive. She will eventually realize that Katie's fashion house cannot offer her the legacy that Forrester does. But here is the real kicker. What if Hope returns to Forrester but demands that Brooke successfully kicks out Steffi first? What if Hope's condition for returning is that Steffi must be removed from power? That would turn this entire storyline upside down. It would transform Hope from a weeping victim into a ruthless corporate player. She'd be mirroring the aggressive traits we see in someone like RJ, who is currently channeling his inner Massimo Marone. At the end of the day, this story is a masterclass in emotional drama. It takes away the glamour of the fashion world and shows the raw, bleeding hearts of these characters. Brooke and Hope have always had one of the strongest bonds on TV. To see that bond shattered by ambition and manipulation is genuinely heartbreaking. You can feel the weight of Brooke's disappointment. You can feel the sting of her tears when she looks at the daughter she sacrificed everything for, only to see a stranger who aligned with her rivals. It is a brilliant narrative choice that injects so much life into the show. The writers have truly outdone themselves by giving us this intense psychological thriller. So, what do you think is going to happen? Will Hope Logan swallow her pride, abandon Katie and Liam's plans, and return to Forrester just to win back her mother's love? Or will she stand her ground and accept that her relationship with Brooke might be permanently broken? I am dying to hear your thoughts. Do you think Brooke is being too harsh, or is she totally justified in demanding loyalty from her daughter? It's a tough one. On one hand, Hope has the right to a career. On the other hand, the way she did it was pretty cold. Let's talk about Elektra for a second. The sound of that suitcase zipping shut and the beach house door slamming was a huge turning point. The Spencer and Forrester war has officially claimed its first casualties. Elektra walked out on Will because he lied to her face for weeks. He knew about Hope's defection. He knew about the diamond heist. And he just watched Elektra walk into that office completely blind. Elektra's reaction was everything. She didn't just cry. She got mad. She had every right to be furious. She felt disrespected. Will's pathetic excuse that it was just business didn't work. Lying isn't a business tactic. It's the very nature of the Spencers. Bill Spencer is the toxic puppet master here. He told Will that if Elektra couldn't understand his loyalty to the Spencers, then she was the problem. Bill is destroying his son's soul piece by piece. Will was paralyzed, torn between making his father proud and saving the love of his life. But you can't have both. You cannot sleep in a Forrester's bed while sharpening a Spencer knife. The breakup scene was total gold. Elektra wasn't just throwing a tantrum. She realized her relationship was built on a sinkhole of lies. She marched toward that door with such determination. And then you have RJ waiting in the wings. He is acting like a total opportunistic shark. Elektra is vulnerable and crying, and here comes RJ with his "I told you so" pride. He's playing the knight in shining armor, but he has his own messy secrets. He's been having a secret romance with Dylan right under Elektra's nose. If Elektra finds out, she's going to lose her mind. RJ is using her heartbreak as a ladder to climb back into her heart. It is so manipulative. This breakup is fuel for the war. It's not just about fashion anymore. It is deeply personal. RJ and Will are going to be at each other's throats. I predict Will is going to go full Dark Spencer. He has lost everything. He has nothing left to lose. Bill is going to turn him into a ruthless corporate raider. Will is going to take all that heartbreak and use it to destroy RJ and the Forrester legacy. Honestly, I'm kind of here for it. Give me villain Will. Let him burn it all down. Half the fans think Elektra overreacted. They say Will was just protecting his family. The other half are cheering for her for knowing her worth. I'm definitely on Team Elektra. You can't build a future with someone who hides massive secrets and then calls it a business transaction. Elektra deserves better. Even if RJ isn't the saint he pretends to be. Her trust issues are going to be huge after this. This poor girl just wanted to design clothes and be loved. Now she's collateral damage in a billionaire contest between Ridge and Bill. And then there's Dylan. She's going to be caught in the middle. She works at Forrester now and is sleeping with RJ. If he drops her to pursue Elektra, she'll be crushed. And don't forget her cousin Remy Price is lurking around. If he gets involved to avenge her, things could get dangerous. Remy doesn't play games. Meanwhile, Bill is probably thrilled. He never wanted Will tied to a Forrester. He wants his sons to be mini-me versions of himself. He's constantly manipulating their love lives. Will is just the latest victim. Bill knew exactly what he was doing when he demanded Will's silence. He knew it would break them up. The dialogue in that breakup scene was top tier. When Will begged her to stay, his voice cracked. I do believe he loves her, but love isn't enough when there is no trust. Elektra's speech about not being a pawn was so empowering. She took her power back. And it all ties back to Hope. This is the crazy part. If Hope hadn't defected, none of this would be happening. Hope's desire to prove herself has caused a butterfly effect that is destroying everything. Brooke is devastated, Ridge is furious, Eric's heart is broken, and now Will and Elektra are done. Hope gets to wear a $100 million diamond while her brother-in-law's relationship burns. The irony is just too good. Hope's success is being built on the ashes of her family's happiness. I keep replaying the look on Will's face when that door closed. He looked so empty. He made his choice. He chose the Spencer name and the Spencer money. Now he has to sleep in that big empty beach house alone. I kind of feel bad for him, but then I remember how easily he lied. What happens tomorrow? RJ is going to wipe Elektra's tears and try to weave his way back into her life. Will is going to show up to work at Logan with a huge chip on his shoulder. Steffi is going to use this breakup as proof that the Spencers are scum. And Ridge is going to use it to fuel his war against Bill. The lines aren't just drawn anymore. They are carved in stone. Will RJ claim Elektra's heart, or will Will's dark side ignite a deadly war? This Thursday is going to be legendary. We'll be right here to break down every tear and every betrayal. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like the video and subscribe. We're tracking every plot twist and every screaming match. Drop your predictions in the comments. Will Hope go back to Forrester? Or is she a Logan for life? Can Will and Elektra ever find their way back to each other? Let me know what you think. Do you believe Hope is being selfish? Or is she just doing what's best for her career? And what about Brooke? Is she the villain of this story now? There's so much to talk about. The Logan-Forrester war is just getting started, and it's already messy. Eric is hurt because Donna kept the secret too. He's disappointed that she didn't tell him the truth about Hope. This is causing fights in their house as well. The Forresters are scrambling to handle the press. Everyone is asking about Hope defecting to a rival house. Eric is hurt, Steffi is blaming Hope, and Ridge is right there with her. It's a total mess at Forrester Creations. Meanwhile, the Spencers are celebrating their victory. But even Hope knows she might have destroyed her relationship with her mom. Dottie and Joseph are all smiles because they liked the designs. But is the success worth the personal cost? Carter Walton might also be worried. They spent a lot of money